Hello, Ben.
Well, hello.
Hello, Andrea. Good morning, both of you.
Hello,
Yeah,
good
hope everyone
afternoon,
is
good morning.
doing well.
Andrea, you're in Seattle now?
Yes, I am. I've been away for 6 hours already today, though.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
A bit jet lagged. We arrived yesterday late afternoon.
Gotcha.
so how is your setup there, Andrea? Do you want me to share instead, or do you want to share, or how is it?
Yeah, I can share. I'm in my hotel room.
Yeah.
Hopefully, internet is good enough. Let me see. Right. Didn't put a ton of things on the agenda. Feel free to add things you would like to discuss. Is it CST? Oh,
No, it's a PST for Seattle.
P.
ST, yeah.
Right. Okay. Chat. Okay. Just put the link to the notes in the chat. And yeah, I'd say let's get started. So welcome everyone to the CDEvents group. Today is April the 15th. It's for recording. Yeah, feel free to sign yourself in, and I put the link in the chat. So for the agenda today, I put in basically release 4 and maybe some planning we can do for what's next and release 5 and other activities. But yeah, feel free to add more topics as we go. So for the release, we made last week release for the CDEvent specification. So here is a link to this release notes. Let me just quickly open it. It was a year probably worth of work, but it's quite a rich release, and we have a lot of new contributors. So it's really exciting. We have quite some new features, as you all know. Yeah, and we wrote a blog post, so thanks to everyone who contributed. And the blog post will go live tomorrow morning, PST time, or tomorrow afternoon, EU time. So with the details on the different features in the release. And yeah, we had a ticket of the release. Let me open it quickly just to check. Right, so we had a number of tasks, and this is actually done. Prepare release announcement is done. So we still, so this is done as well. So the only things left are announce the release on Slack and mailing list. And my proposal would be for this to wait until the blog post is out, and then we can do the announcement with a link to the blog post, if it makes sense. and the rest is working on the SDKs. Even though I would tend to say we can close this specific ticket once the release is made, and maybe track the work on the SDK as separate tickets.
Yeah, I think a separate ticket for the SDKs probably makes the most sense. And then also with the SDKs, understanding like the scope as well, because the reason why I say that is like I imagine like with most updates that we do, it's going to be, just hopefully mostly code generated. I don't think that's how it is today, but if we could get to that place, that would be really nice. But I think the biggest difference with this release is the links, because that isn't really isn't covered with the SDK. So I think getting an idea of the level of work that's needed for links and maybe the various other features would be really nice to have, like in a GitHub issue or separate GitHub issues for each SDK, because I imagine they might be constructed a little bit differently. Hopefully they're consistent, but I'm not too sure. I'm only familiar with the Go and Java one. I haven't looked too much at the Rust and Python one, but it might be a good idea to kind of like investigate, like the level of work that's going to be required to kind of get them updated.
Yeah, especially the Python one. I mean, the Golang, Java, and Rust, they're mainly generated in those,
Cool.
because new features, new things will need some manual intervention for sure. The links for sure, support for the custom schema also is something that will need manual intervention. So there's a bunch of things that will need some work. For the Python one, Eric used to work on it, and so he told us that he would be back to the project at some point, but it hasn't happened yet. So I don't know.
When was that, Andrea? Like when he said that, like was that a month ago, 2 months ago? Like just looking at a kind of like a timeline.
I guess beginning of the year, end of last year, so a few months ago.
Okay.
So mainly we need contributors, maintainers
Yeah.
of Python SDKs, right? But I guess that's also as always, it's a bit on demand. So if there are folks that are working on Python projects that want to use the SDK, the original plan was to use it for the for keys project, which is written in Python, which is a kind of Dora dashboard. But that did not move along. I mean, we tried to contact Dave on Google side, who maintains the project several times, but he never came back to us anymore. So I don't know if there is any tool or project that is written in Python that would like to adopt CDEvents today. If that happens, I guess we'll need to ramp up on the Python, find someone to work on that. And I guess, I mean, once it comes to the what is called Oktoberfest or those kind of activities, we can propose it again if someone wants to contribute. Maybe we can find some mentoring program for the Linux Foundation or so that can help us find contributors for that.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that definitely sounds like a good plan. And I'm still in the process working with the lawyers to make code contributions. So I hope within a few months I'll be able to, I can at least start help maintaining the Go and Java one. I do have some experience with Python, but what I'm thinking is, so there's a mentoring program like CodeWise here in Austin, Texas. Like various companies reach out and like they, try to get like mentors. I might be able to see if I can maybe utilize that to like maybe start, I mean, they're not, they're probably going to be very junior SDKs, but that's better than no one, right? So I'd much prefer get somebody and then just have them learn. If you guys would be okay with that idea.
It would work for me. I do have experience with Python as well, but I don't have the bandwidth to work on it right now.
Okay, cool. All right. As long as we have someone that at least can do the code reviews and be like, hey, this is not idiomatic to Python, then that's at least helpful. Because like I said, I don't have too much experience with Python, but if we can at least, get someone that has Python experience or at least be able to look at it, and then obviously, things are going to translate between all the various other languages to Python. So if something looks wrong in in Golang versus Python, it's probably going to be the same, right? Between the languages, hopefully. But cool, that's definitely good. So I'll definitely do that once that ball I guess, well, it's been rolling. Once it gets finished, I'll start thinking about like finding some mentors that I can start doing for the SDK specifically.
Cool.
Yeah, just a small comment, Andrea, on closing this issue here. I'm pretty sure we now added the link to this issue into the blog post, saying that you can follow the progress of the SDK implementations through this issue.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering
Gotcha.
if we could maybe at least regenerate, so we have some kind of standard on the SDKs. Of course, we will not have all the new features involved, but at least have the O.4 specification regenerating the SDKs that are able to be generated easily before we close the issue, and then we can work on improving and adding the new features from 0.4 onto the SDKs as well.
Yeah, I like that approach.
So at least give some kind of progress on the SDK updates, so people are not in the blind.
That's good. Trying to take notes. Sorry. Hopefully that captures that. Okay. Hopefully that captures everything. I think. Right. Right. Thanks, Brett, for that. Cool. All right, so we keep the issue open. And yeah, I think we have a good plan on how to proceed. Anything else on the current release?
No, just good job, everybody. We were able to get that down. Or looks like there wasn't too many issues. It seemed to be pretty smooth. So I was pretty happy to see that just kind of get released, especially after a year. So good job, everyone.
Yeah, good job, everyone. Very thanks. It's really exciting to see new release. Hopefully it won't take a year again. This is the next one. And the next one will be maybe a lighter one, not so many big features like in this one. So Right. So then next, post v04 and for v05, I put down some ideas of things that we can do, things we can work on based on availability. But I wanted to see what people's thoughts, what's the expectation there. So I think we mentioned that we wanted to try and focus like breaking changes in one release. So maybe do any breaking changes like for cleanup, consistency, or those kind of stuff in the 0.5 as much as possible. Yeah, and another thing that we could do as part of that, we discussed about tooling for generation of the docs and auto generation of everything related to spec in general. So that might be something that also we could look at, also because it might highlight other inconsistencies and those kind of things. So it would be good to get them in this release.
So real quick though, on the breaking changes, cleanup, and consistency, do we have,
Yeah.
I know we have some GitHub issues on this. Do we have, I guess, do we have everything that's covered, and do we have like an issue or like a document that's kind of like aggregating all this information? Just because I want to understand, just kind of the level of like what we are expecting to change. I know I have a GitHub issue that's pretty specific, but it's actually could be repurposed to be a little bit more generalized for cleanup. So I might be able to repurpose that one, but just kind of, maybe starting a separate issue that kind of like tracks all, or maybe a milestone might be better, like have separate milestones for like breaking changes, cleanup, and then just like aggregating that all into one list, for the each separate milestones might be an option as well. Or maybe a label makes more sense, to be honest. So, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just wondering like if that, if that's been thought about or whatnot, and kind of seeing what we plan on, how to figure out, what we need to do for 0.5.
And that's a great point. And because we have milestones, but milestones are project specific. So what we did for 0.4, we had this project here with kind of milestone across different components, and maybe we could do something like that for 0.5, have a new project for 0.5. And we could, like you said, use labels or ARIA or something like that to kind of group all tickets related to cleanup.
Okay.
We have a few, if it makes sense.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. I can do that then, because like I said, I'm most interested in this because like I'm the type of person that I like to see the goal before, before like starting. I like to like kind of like understand the scope of things. So I don't mind taking the time and going through the GitHub issues. And obviously if I miss one, it can be, someone can add it. So I can go ahead and do that today. I have a couple things I want to do for CDEvents for today, so I'll add that to the list of stuff.
Cool. Yep. Yeah. But then, right now is mainly brainstorming about things that we want to do, but yeah, we need to track it. So if you can work on that, that's great. Thanks.
Cool.
Or for cleanup specifically. So David, who has been working on the Rust SDK, a number of things that he reported or started working on. So that part, like, he created this PR, for instance, and I think he created a few issues as well, like remove the subject type, alignment of file names, and those kind of things.
Yeah, so to kind of expand a little bit on 188, which is the snake case and camel case, he's mentioning just file, but like also, I don't know if we have a GitHub issue, on this. I know we talked about creating one, so hopefully it does already exist, but some of our fields are snake case and other ones are camel case. So we definitely want to agree on one and push forward for that consistency. So if there isn't a GitHub issue on that, then I will create one, but I'll first take a look, because I don't remember seeing one, but it could have been I just missed it, right?
Yeah, I don't think we have one, but we might have inconsistencies. So what we did discuss, not in core, sorry, we did discuss about the format that we want to have, and I think we included it here.
Yeah.
This thing here, like object key names are by convention defined in camel case. But that doesn't mean that it's enforced everywhere. So yeah, so we would need an issue to track, exceptions.
Yeah, so that actually brings up another 0.5 topic, right? So like as we're making all these consistency changes, does it make sense to like also look at linters as well, like for our CI process, right? Which I don't know, did you add that? Tooling, I guess tooling could fit under tooling.
Yeah, but
yeah, just call it out. Yeah, it makes sense. Just so we don't get back to the same place that we just fixed, right? So that would definitely definitely help.
So we do have certain level of linting and verification in CI today, but yeah, so things like the camel case for certain parts of our spec, this is something that we might need to create a specific linter. I don't think there is anything off the shelf that we could use for that. Yeah, and other things, I guess we could check. Yeah, so like when someone adds a new schema file or new example files, that the file name is in a certain is done in a certain way. Yeah, so some of the linters today expect the names to be in a certain format.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the tools, so if they are not, they won't find the file names. So and then things will not work. So I think we already have some level of check, but we definitely need to improve that.
Cool, cool.
Right. Cool. In terms of tooling and generation, I think we had some issues. Some of you created, Ben.
Yes.
We had some, there is an old issue also about looking into alternatives or extensions to JSON schema for schemas that might make the generation of the SDKs easier. So that's something that also we could try to cover as part of that. Then I think we talked already about the SDK, and so, but I think we will need a set of issues to structure this work. So maybe we need to identify first what are the kind of features that we want to have in the SDKs, and then identify the bits of work that needs to be done. We might want, as part of that, I'll put it here, to implement some kind of reference implementation for us link service, like maybe very simple implementation or something that allows us to receive link API calls, so that we can test it and have a POC with that.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Other work that we discussed that we would do or we could do since we introduced links is not necessarily on the specification in terms of JSON schemas, but still it would be good to have some further discussion about propagation. Maybe in some specific cases, we could try to see how it could work. And maybe it could be part of some kind of reference architecture for certain setup to see when we have a certain set of tools, how do we propagate the context so we can use links in certain setups. I think that would be something good to have. It could be part of documentation, proof of concept, or things like that. And as well, I mean, we've been talking about updating our proof of concepts for some times. We have a very old proof of concept we did with Spinnaker, Jenkins, Tekton, and so forth. There is a more recent proof of concept with the dashboard. And I think AragoDB was used there. And that one was based on the assumption that links would exist at some point. So it would be good, to refresh that one with the actual implementation of links. And maybe we could combine them into like a single POC where we have multiple tools. We collect the data, we visualize it. That would be really nice, I think. And that could include also things like the webhook adapter that we are developing, so that we kind of showcase everything that we do in one place.
So one thing I do want to mention just a little bit by looking at this list, it does seem quite large. What I mean, like, I don't know when we plan on releasing 0.5. We should probably strive for something not like a year, like, like as you said earlier, Andrea. But my worry is because the links SDKs itself, it's a pretty big task. And then adding the link service reference implementation, that's also a pretty big task. And then, like the spec related stuff, that seems pretty doable, but then also improve the tooling and the generation. That also seems quite large. So I'm just a little worried that, this release might have a lot. So I guess what I'm wondering is, like, should we kind of think about, like, what should be priorities for 0.5? And then if things need to go over to 0.6, what are some things that we can move over to 0.6? Like, what are the must-haves for 0.5? Because like I said, just looking at this list, just looking at especially the two links ones as being very, very large. The links ones, I know we can get the SDKs in, but maybe the service reference implementation can wait till 0.6. Because like I said, I think that in itself, like adding like a test service is going to be huge as well. I'm a little worried in that regard. Like I said, we could discuss it more, but I'm just wondering, like, if we should think about, like, what are the necessary must-haves for 0.5, and then if things need to roll over, what things are we okay with rolling over to 0.6?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I didn't mean to say that we need to definitely do everything that is in here before 0.5. In fact, I mean, for the spec specifically, probably first point is what
cool.
we need to do. But I would like to think that we have a number of tasks in mind. And as you said, we can prioritize and decide which you want to work on first. And yeah, so I think I would like to see some movement probably in most of them, but I don't think that they should block a specific release. In terms of proof of concept, I mean, whatever we can put together and then grow on it, it's really nice and useful. I think when we go into advocacy for the project or talk to other projects and see, and you want to show them how, you know,
how to do something.
How to do something with CD
Yeah.
events. So that's really useful, I think, and we don't have too many things to present that we can use. So we have the dashboard one now that is pretty up to date, but it would be good to get the rest integrated as well. But yeah, so I think mainly I wanted to brainstorm and see what ideas we have, and if there are other things, and we can then put them in the project, and as you said, Ben, to just give priorities and, you know, also break them down in smaller tasks for those that we want to do first, and so we can, yeah, kind of track where we're going. Maybe we could only put very minimal set in the 0.5 and have a kind of roadmap document or project that we use with everything else is in there.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I like that approach. Like, keep it slim, you know, like the must-haves, and then, you know, as things get done, we can add to it, right? Okay, yeah, cool. That's definitely a good strategy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and anything else? Anyone? Let me see. Into the participant list. Right.
So I added the link there to the 4.5 release project in GitHub. I just added the tab for 0.5 there. Since we already have some items marked with 0.5.
Cool.
Back at least, and I think we could use that view to plan them. And we might then move things to 0.6 already quite soon when we say they don't fit. So we can use that view.
Cool. Anything else from anyone? Bright, anything on the workshop from you that you need to report?
I don't have anything.
All right. One thing just came to mind since you're here, Jalander. I think I mentioned the visualization POC. It would be nice. I think it's a PR at the moment. It would be nice to get it merged, but I think it needs.
Yeah. So even so that POC also, like, we have done with the visualization, so that assumes like the assumption is that the links exist. So we have like done some mock-up to have some links. But the plan is, like, if we can upgrade, like we have 0.4 with links, right? So if we can upgrade so all that with the links, and then if we have the proper one, so is what we are thinking. But so we can or how we can go, like we can merge the current PRs and then get start with the actual links in the next PRs.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. I think because I mean the PR is there, and the work that version, I mean, was demonstrated, and you showed it. And I think it would be good to have it tracked. And then once the next step is ready, we can make a new PR because we don't know how long it will take, because especially if you want to rely on SDKs, you know, we need to implement them first. So.
Yeah, okay. So the PR that is actually created, it's part of PR. So I think we also have a changes for actual Grafana integrations and the CDEvents aware tool visualization. So I think I will create a PR for that event. So I think we are good to merge this PR, I think so, if no other things, but we'll also create another PR for the Grafana and CDEvents aware tool. Different types of approaches for visualization. So we'll create that PR.
Cool. Yeah, I think the only thing for that initial PR was that it was failing the one of
the
the CI
DCO
jobs.
checks. Yeah. Okay. I'll
you,
get it correct that. Yeah.
If you can fix that, then
Sure.
All right. Okay, then well, great to meet everyone, and until next week then.
All right, yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Good luck on CDCon, Andrea.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.